Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about quoted words, the nonfiction signpost, the second nonfiction signpost for this semester. Okay, so let's get started. So, quoted words are opinions or conclusions of someone who is an expert on the subject or someone who might be a participant or a witness to an event, or the author might cite other people to provide support to a point. That's a point, okay? So you will see them right away in informational text because the quotations, open and close quotation, will give them away. Okay. Now let's look at the three categories of quoted words. First, we have voices of authority, opinions or conclusions of an expert. So if we have a person who's an expert, a connoisseur, for example, or a professor, for example, that quotation is considered or categorized as voice of authority. Okay. The second one, we have the personal perspective, opinions, or conclusions of a participant or witness. So if we have firsthand experience, you saw what happened. Okay. You were there when someone said this. That quoted words is considered personal experience because you have your first hand or personal perspective because you have your first hand experience. And then third, we have other words, and these are opinions or conclusions showing many others have studied the topic. So this kind of quoted words are normally found in research papers. Okay, so these are opinions and conclusions that people that have studied. Sometimes the two voices of authority, in other words, might be confusing, but just have in mind when you say voices of authority, that is pertaining to an expert. Okay, an expert, someone who knows about this stuff, someone who specializes in this topic. Other words, on the other hand, are usually found in newspapers because people studied about the topic. Okay, next. Now, let's proceed to the anchor question. No matter what category of quoted words you find, always ask this question to yourself. Why was this person quoted or cited, and what did this add? So, answering this question requires you to think about the value the quote added to the text and why the author chose to include it. What is the importance of adding this quote? Okay, after adding this quote, what did this add up? Okay, so answering that question will help you or give you a better understanding of the informational text that you are reading. Okay, now let's look at this example. Let's give it a try. Okay, let me use my Word document so I could type in it. Okay. So, let me read it to you real quick. You probably heard the expression it's raining cats and dogs, but so called animal rain is actually a real phenomenon. Rains of small fish, frogs, and even snakes have been documented throughout history, and people still aren't quite sure what causes them. One theory involves water sprouts or tornadoes that form over water. Professor Irving Klein from University of Michigan says, "I've witnessed entire ponds being emptied of their water by a passing tornado. By that logic, it's not unreasonable for small creatures in those ponds to rain from the skies. No matter what the cost, one can imagine how strange it must be to experience a rain full of creatures from the sky. In 2010, residents in small Australian town didn't have to rely on imagination. Local resident Jacinda Carter describes the sight all of a sudden. What looked like hundreds of small perch fell out of the sky. Everyone was running around like mad, either trying to get out of the way or pick them up. Okay, now, so let's take a look. Obviously, we have words or sentences that are in quotation mark, but this one got my attention. This one right here. Let me highlight it. Okay. And this is a statement that Professor Irving, let me put the Professor Irving Klein from University of Michigan. He said that it is possible to have animal rain, okay, most especially in cases like this. According to him, he saw this And by logic, he said it's not unreasonable for small creatures in those ponds to rain from the skies. Now, if I'm going to look at its category, I would say this is an example of a voice of authority. Okay? Why? Because it's stated by a professor, an expert about the topic, Professor Irving Klein from University of Michigan. Okay? Another example of quoted words that I have here is found here. All of a sudden, I look like what looked like hundreds of small birds fell out of the sky. Everyone's running, blah, 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 and picked them up. Okay. Now, what category do you think this quoted word belongs? So I would say, okay, she saw it firsthand. She saw that small perch falling out of the sky, and everybody was running like around like mad. So if I'm gonna categorize this, I would say this is personal perspective. Personal perspective. She saw it firsthand. What happened the day those small perch fell out of the sky? Okay, so again, every time we see quoted words, we ask ourselves or we looked at the category. Okay, is it voice of authority, personal perspective, or other words? And we ask ourselves the question, what or why was this person quoted or cited, and what did this add up? Okay, so that's it for our video today. If you have any question, please let me know. I'm just inside the classroom. Okay, bye.